Welcome to the podcast.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Luke.
Well, how are you feeling about Melbourne and 2025?
I feel pretty good about Melbourne. Yeah, I do. I feel like there's a lot of things happening. I often feel really guilty because there's so much happening and I don't partake in enough.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, even just on the weekend, I caught up with someone who's from Brisbane, and he was playing, well, they were playing, I should say, a show for the Midsummer Festival, and they, very excited about Melbourne and all the things that Melbourne has, and then you think, oh yeah, I don't do it enough. When you when you visit, if you grow up here, I didn't grow up here. I grew up in South Australia. So I remember when we used to come to Melbourne, we'd go, oh my God, there's this and you can do that. But that thing, if you settle in. But I've got friends who live in New York who do the same. And I think, well, you live in New York, shouldn't you be checking this out and that? When you're there visiting, you can't stop.
Yeah.
But it's just that thing, you settle into life. And so I think Melbourne's always good, always exciting. But I should see a bit more. I mean, I tend to just stick to my local area, which, as you know, is Brunswick. So there's lots of things happening in Brunswick. So I am lucky. Yeah.
Do you think that because you have, you're living the performer's life, that when you're home, you don't want to do the touristy things because you spend so much time traveling, and when you're, out performing, it's potentially when someone else who works a 9 to 5 would go out for the weekend?
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, look, I know the thing is too, when you're traveling most of the time, it is because you're working. So even though you're doing, we were just in Europe for almost a month in December, and because you're working at night, you don't really give in to the whole tourist thing anyway. You try to see some stuff, but then you kind of just knacker yourself. So, but then when you do have time to yourself, you can of course do that. So I reckon, I'm a bit of a homebody, basically. I just think it boils down to that. Whereas some people will, of course, go nonstop. But I like being at home. Yeah.
How do you balance the two musicians in the household?
Well, Ronnie, my husband, is he's very outgoing, and he's the sort of person that everyone knows. Ronnie, you just go out for dinner and someone will know him, which looks really impressive to people if they don't know, the people with that they think, oh my God, he must be famous. It's no, just everyone knows Ronnie. So he's very social and stuff, whereas I'm pretty quiet. I like to just be home, and I don't like parties and stuff. And I do have thought about it, and I do think it's because often when you're gigging, the Brunswick Green gig, which I've had for 17 and a half years, pretty much every night feels like my 21st, my 40th, my 50th, my wedding all rolled into one, because you kind of got to work the room. It's not like you got to, you just do, because it's a small room. Most of the people. Sometimes you don't know anyone, which is great, but you got it. That's your responsibility. It's to say g'day to people, and to, so it is a social thing. And I feel like that, sometimes I feel really overwhelmed by that, because it's not my favourite thing to do. But when I'm there, it's fine, because it's part of the gig. I don't, sometimes I dread it, and I think, oh, I've got to do a gig. If only I could just do what, the sax player or the bass player does, and rock up, plug in, and off I go. That would be great. But no, because it's my gig and I'm the singer, I've got to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just, most of the time, Luke, I don't feel like doing that. But then when I'm there, I'm fine.
Okay.
But I do dread it.
Yeah,
often.
Sure.
A lot of gigs I just dread doing, because I think, I'm going to have to talk to the audience, but I don't get nervous. I'm very strange, because I actually don't get nervous. But that's the thing I dread. It's not the music.
Wow.
Unless I'm not prepared. I always make sure I'm prepared musically, but yeah, that social thing. So being two musicians, because Ronnie and I are very different in that way. He's very outgoing, and yeah, so lucky I have that, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I hadn't really thought about that. I've always been impressed by singers who are musically working the room, I suppose. But there's just playing drums up the back not thinking about like
No, you don't have to.
interaction. Yeah,
you don't have
not
to
at
think
all.
about anything, really. You just have to think, did I bring my clutch? And, what's my stool? How's this stool tonight? Like, if
Yeah.
you don't bring your own stool, like, is this stool going to ruin my back? Like, you don't have a lot to think about. You don't have to think about what you wear.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, honestly, I mean, I know it sounds like whinging, but, like, every now and then I just think, man, it just shits me that I've got to, like, make some effort. I mean, you're looking at me now. I've just been for my walk. I've got my, this is, if I could do gigs like this, I mean, I could. I probably could. But I'm just too old school. I don't think I could.
It's too ingrained that
it's too ingrained that I've got to, like, I'm not a big glamorous person either. I hate that. I hate glamoring up. But, like, I feel like that's part of the job, is that I have to at least look as though I haven't just got out of bed. Which I probably do to people anyway. They probably think, oh, my God, did she just get out of bed? And I've probably spent quite a bit of time getting ready.
Surely not.
No, I don't know.
Wow, that's really
you don't know.
interesting.
You can't. But as soon as you get that thought in your head, that's got nothing to do with the music, and that's what I do dread that.
Do you miss, like, a period of time where you didn't have as much notoriety, where it's like your show, where, like, people are coming with expectations and things like that?
Oh, I don't think that. I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't know. Like, you've performed around the world.
Yeah, it looks good on Instagram. Like.
But and in real life, like, the amount of musicians that I was at Monash with that went, like, learning off Michelle Nicolle is just, like, blown my world.
Oh, it's because I make them work hard.
But seriously, like, it's leaving, lasting impressions with people.
Oh, my God, I don't think of that. Really? Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I sometimes feel like, okay, well, I guess the only thing I could sort of talk about then relating to that is that I know I prefer to do a gig where I don't know anyone.
In the audience?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Although I love it when I see, like the Brunswick Green, like, there's regulars that come every week, If they're not there, it's like, what's happened? They've had a fall or something. Or they're on holiday or something. But yeah, that thing of, like, and when I see past students, like, I love it. But at the same time, if there's students in the room, then it just changes the way I think in a way. I have to not let it get into my head, because I just think all I can do is, I don't know, just try to be real in the moment, really. And when you're thinking about all the times you've talked to somebody about, oh, you should try doing something this way and that way, and then you're thinking, if you start thinking, oh yeah, well, I just did totally the opposite of what I suggest to other people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you start thinking about it, yeah, I just prefer, but no, I don't think of it like, I don't know, I've gone off track, haven't I? Anyway.
No, it's totally fine. But it completely takes you out of the moment when you're thinking about things like that.
Yeah, I don't like to be taken out of the moment, I guess. And yeah, I find it, it's not an anxiety thing, but too, like, I just, like I said, it's, for me, it's, if I have to start thinking about the audience, and depending doesn't matter what sort of gig it is, really, if I start thinking about what they're feeling or how they're reacting, then that really gets in my head sometimes. Mm-hmm. But having said that, then I'm playing off of that. I'm playing off that energy. If you're getting nothing, if it's tumbleweed out there, that's the worst for me. But it's worse for any performer. But what's worse for me is that then that sends me into overdrive. Then I think, I have to work hard to wake them up or to get them to engage. Where sometimes they're just a very shy bunch of people, or they don't know how to react in a certain room. Like, they just think, what am I meant to do? It's like, you're meant to do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. But it's like, how does it feel up here on stage sometimes? Yeah. And other times you're doing gigs where people are, like, overreacting. It's like, dude, just relax. It's not that good. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as soon as you start thinking of it, it's kind of weird. But the thing is, it's spontaneous. You're just reacting. I mean, that's just, I guess that's doing it a long time and knowing how to read the room. And I do think, like, having a regular gig, for so long has really helped me with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because even though it's the same room and it's this tiny room, like, you just know how to read a room. But I think I had that before I started the Brunswick Green gig. I mean, it's I think it is important. There's no point doing a gig to no audience.
Mm.
And when I say, I'm not talking about big numbers, I'm talking about like if there's 3 people in the audience, that's an audience and you should be there for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I've always had that mentality, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do you remember like the last time you were nervous for a gig?
Yeah, shit, yeah. Like the Winton Marsalis gigs I did with the Lincoln Centre. I was absolutely hacking myself. I mean, we did 4 shows. It was 2 in Melbourne and 2 in Sydney at the Opera House.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was like 2 minutes, 36 seconds to be precise of singing.
Wow.
In the 12th movement, the last movement, there's a lot of me waiting around. So, you know, whereas if I could rock up and just do it and that'd be fine. But it's like, it's the waiting. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just like, it's like being at the back of the class when you know they're going to ask you a question and or having to do some sort of public speech where you know what you're doing, but you know, I'm going to fuck this up, you know, like, but just waiting. It was the waiting. I'd be so stressed. And it was hard. Like it was, the music was hard for me. It's not the sort of singing I do. I mean, you know, I like to sing a really specific thing and nail that 4 times. I was really nervous. But I mean, I was really nervous.
What was the like supportive musical landscape like? You know, was it just like you're off on your own and like just come in and hit the mark, or was there like you were able to engage with the musicians? And
well, no, because it's like a symphony orchestra.
Yeah,
the Lincoln Centre Orchestra, 120-piece choir in the Sydney Opera House, and I literally had to, you know, I'll be waiting in the wings.
Okay,
I'm out. I'm not even on stage. And that the cue was when that piece of music started, then I would walk. In Sydney, I had to walk in through the band, so past the drummer and you know.
Wow.
Yeah, and then go and stand next to Winton.
Yeah, that really ramps up the pressure, doesn't it?
But it was amazing. I mean, it was amazing.
Mm.
And then singing also too, because those gigs were without a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
So, or did I have a microphone? No, I must have had a microphone. What the hell? But I had no fallback.
Oh.
Right, so you're singing into a microphone and you're hoping that it's going out there. You don't know.
Yeah.
You can't hear. And you've got an orchestra behind you. And but my bit was a cappella to start with too, so I'm on my own. Anyway, it was but yeah, I was really nervous. But the thing is, I didn't have to do any of those things that I normally get nervous about, like having to talk to the audience or, you know, it was purely just like, I'm so explosive if I stuff this up. It's no like, oh, let's just do that again or let's change the key or, you know, how about a bit faster? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so that sort of stuff, I was really nervous, but it was an amazing experience though, I have to say. Yeah.
Can we like go back to some of your origins?
Yeah.
Do you remember like the first moment you knew you could sing?
Not really. I mean, we just always sang in the house. Mum would always have records on. We'd always be singing along with Elvis and Charlie Pride and Neil Diamond and all sorts of music. And we were big, you know, ABBA fans, my sister and I. And I think we just always sang. My dad was and my mum, when she was young, she sang in a band.
Okay.
But none of them were musicians, you know. But my dad was always singing. He sort of thought he was a bit of a Dean Martin, and I don't know. I guess I just knew that I could sing in tune. I mean, my sister and I, we could all sing in tune. I mean, it never occurred to me that people couldn't sing in tune. You know what I mean? Like carry a tune. I'm not saying I always sing in tune, but like, so I don't really remember. But I remember thinking like, oh, that'd be so great. Imagine being able to do that. When I was watching Young Talent Time, so you're too young to remember you don't even know what Young Talent Time is.
I've heard other people tell me about it.
So you don't know about Young Talent Time? Well, without Young Talent Time, there'd be no Tina Arena. That's where she started.
It's like my version of Australian Idol, but like a multi-talent show without the competition element.
Well, no, there was a competition. You know, there was like they would have people on each week to come and sing a song or play the drums or juggle some balls or whatever.
Yep.
But the essential show was a bunch of kids So handpicked by Johnny Young, who ran, he was a performer in the 50s. Like, he was my mum's generation, like, you know, was on Bandstand and stuff. He was like a minor pop star himself.
Sure.
And then he had like, he coached these kids, and then they had a TV show. So there was like kids, maybe, I don't know, maybe 8 right up to like teens, like 16, and then they would leave. And it was like maybe 10 of them. And it was a show every Saturday night, I think, or Sunday night, and you'd watch it religiously. And they'd just do pop songs of the day.
Sure.
So lots of people got their start on that show. And then there was the talent show aspect of it as well. But that was like everyone watched it. It was like Countdown before, you know, for younger, like, you know, and then of course you'd progress to watching Countdown.
Okay.
So, but Tina Arena, I remember Tina Arena because she was like this little Italian girl. I mean, I'm not Italian, my husband's Italian, but I think I looked a little bit like Tina Arena, and people used to think I looked, people used to say, "Are you Tina Arena?" But I remember singing to my hairbrush going, "Oh, God, I'd love to be Tina Arena."
Wow.
So I don't remember, and because I was doing, at school too, I was doing violin, and I wasn't singing. I mean, I never thought singing was a thing you could do.
Sure.
To be honest, it was just people on TV. Never thought I would do it.
So how did you, like, you know, progress through from just, you know, you're singing for fun with your family and...
Well, at school I was, in primary school I think we had choirs, I don't remember. But I was teaching myself piano and singing songs to myself, and whilst playing the violin in the orchestra and stuff. And then when I got to high school, I was in the choir and in the jazz choir, and... I mean, maybe I had a couple little solos. I don't remember, but I never had singing lessons, and I was always doing violin and trumpet. I played cornet actually.
Oh.
Yeah, cornet in a town band. And I got to uni, and I thought, you know, well, I auditioned for uni.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I'm going to audition on voice as well, because no one will know. I didn't tell anyone. And I auditioned on voice. I didn't get in on voice. I got in on violin.
Okay.
So, I mean, but this was doing a Bachelor of Music Education. So my whole plan was to be a high school music teacher.
Okay.
I had never had any inkling to be a performer. Like, I thought, oh my God, why would you want to do that? Because remember, I was playing violin. It's like the idea of standing up and playing the violin in front of people was horrible. And I used to only do it when I had to for exams, but I loved playing the orchestras.
Okay.
So, but I thought, I'm going to try, because I know I can sing in tune. And at school also, always the teachers were saying, oh, you know, you could really do this. It's like, So when I didn't get in on voice, I just did violin and then just joined the jazz choirs, and I just bumbled along really.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like an unexpected turn.
Really?
For me, like, you know, because I only know your like recent.
You can't imagine me playing the violin, can you?
No.
No, you wouldn't want it. It's horrible. I was so bad. So when I was doing violin, I was just playing in the orchestras and singing in choir, and then I think I was in second year of uni of a 4-year degree. So that's the other thing. I started uni when I was very young, because in South Australia, like, you start school when you turn 5. So my birthday's in January. So like I did my whole first year uni when I was 17.
Right.
So I moved down from the country, moved to a share house in North Adelaide. Big, you know, lots of really, really, my parents had no idea, but it was really, really bad. Really, really lots of drugs. And anyway, but I spent my first year of uni, I don't know what the hell I did really, but I was still 17. And I was still doing violin. And then I think it was the beginning of second year, I had to have a back operation, and I wasn't allowed to play the violin for a while. It was like fantastic. And then the head of the course said to me, because he was also the head of the jazz choir, which I was in, he said, would you like to switch your major to voice? So I think it was beginning of third year I switched my major to voice. I can't remember.
Wow.
Yeah, so they just kind of let me transition over.
Yeah, okay.
But I still kept playing violin. Yeah.
So how did you end up in Melbourne?
Oh, well, I was at uni, you know, doing the thing. started teaching, finished uni, was doing teaching in Adelaide. I also taught at John Young Talent School. That was my first, the school, because they had a franchise of schools all across Australia.
Wow.
So that was my first teaching gig, teaching little kids on Sunday mornings. And we were just coming to Melbourne to do gigs. So I was in a band, a vocal group called Vocool.
Ooh.
Yeah, very cool. It was basically 5 singers and a rhythm section.
Mm-hmm.
And we started off as a New York Voices cover band, basically. You probably don't know who they are.
No.
But they're a very famous vocal jazz group.
Mm-hmm.
So vocal jazz has never been really like choral jazz. It's never been huge in Australia. You know, like the only time you ever hear about it is at Generations in Jazz now in Mount Gambier. But like I was in one of the first choirs in Australia, and the guy who I studied with, he studied it in the States. And anyway, so like we had this offshoot group, 5 singers, really, really intricate harmonies. I used to arrange for that group as well. And we started doing jazz festivals. So we played at the Manly Jazz Festival, Bellingen Jazz Festival, Montserrat.
Oh, yeah.
Which was before Melbourne International Jazz Festival. So I started, and we used to come over and play at Bennett's Lane.
Right.
Right, the original Bennett's Lane in the city. Like the band would come over, and then the guy who runs Bennett's Lane, Michael Tortoni, he's because I was in that group. I was his first soprano, and I had a lot of solos. I was the only one who really improvised. Oh no, that's not true. Ross, the bass, was an improviser. So he said to me, "Do you have your own jazz group?" And I did have a quartet back in Adelaide. So I brought my band over a couple of times from Adelaide to play at Bennett's Lane.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just got to know, and then it was like, well, it's too expensive for me to bring the band. And so I would pick up players here, and then you just got to know people. And then Ronnie, my husband, and I, who's my drummer as well, we just thought we've got to get out of Adelaide. So Melbourne was I wanted to go to Sydney because I love the beach and stuff. And we'd been playing in Sydney as well, but Melbourne won. And I'm glad, actually. I'm really glad that we came to Melbourne.
Mm.
But it was from doing gigs.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So meeting more people and coming here. I mean, it was pretty tough though when we came here. Like we didn't have any work and we had to go on the dole for 6 months or something. It was pretty hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you do any teaching work?
Yeah, I got luckily pretty much straight away. I mean, before we moved, because in Adelaide I was teaching at quite a lot of schools. I was teaching at quite a lot of posh schools, and at the uni I was teaching, which is ridiculous to come straight out of uni to teach in uni, but that's how it worked. And so I think we were here only a couple months. We moved in January, and I think then I got a teaching job. I got a teaching job at VCA straight away. Oh, right. Which is crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Ronnie, my husband, he was teaching at some St. Catherine's and some fancy girls' schools. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we just sent out a resume. I just blanketed every school I knew. I did teach, I can't remember, Ivanhoe Grammar. I thought I taught that for a while. I can't remember. But yeah, basically the head of the VCA at the time was Brian Brown. This is way back. I think he called me. I can't remember, but anyway, he said, "Would you like a job?"
Wow.
I mean, I know.
That's amazing.
Amazing, isn't it? And so I was really lucky. But I did hustle, but I don't remember. And it all feels, when I look back, it feels like that was 1995. So yeah, so that's what 30 years ago, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, far out.
Yeah. Far
out, yeah. So VCA, yeah, and that was like a rude shock going to the VCA.
What do you mean by that? If you're happy to elaborate.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, it was because Ronnie and I both went through the jazz course in Adelaide.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my teaching degree, and then I did another 2 years of the jazz course. So I did 6 years of uni, which is ridiculous because I have nothing to show for it. I've got a teaching degree and an associate diploma of jazz. But yeah, that was a really hardcore like bebop course, basically.
Sure.
So it was, like they kind of stopped at kind of blue. That was it.
Okay.
That was kind of 1964. That's too far.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go past 1965. Yeah, whatever. So when we came to Melbourne, I mean, we'd been here often enough to know the jazz players, you know, and like what we're talking like people like Mark Fitzgibbon, who I used to play with quite a lot, and you know, amazing like hard bebop, post-bop players. Like I could play the shit out of, you know, yeah, those guys, Ian Chaplin, Scott Lambie, like Philip Rex and all those guys. They were like, you know, and so I knew the Melbourne jazz scene, but I didn't know that the education scene was so different. So VCA was very much like, I'm going to say hippie, right?
Yep.
But compared to Adelaide, right? Adelaide was like, you know, it was like having somebody with a ruler racking on the knuckles, you know, do this at this tempo, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it wasn't really like that, but compared to VCA, it was.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to meet Brian Brown at VCA my first day, you know, I went to his office. And you're way too young to even know. Do you know who Brian Brown is?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, so he was a huge figure, you know. And Tony Gould and all those guys, they were teaching him, Bob Green. So they started the course, you know. So, and it wasn't part of Melbourne Uni then. Like Victorian College of the Arts was a separate thing.
Yep.
And the uni was trying to absorb. They were trying to take over. I mean, it was early days of the takeover. And anyway, I went to meet with Brian Brown and I said, look, you know, I'm there with my little notepad. Okay, Brian, okay, so can you tell me what the syllabus is? And he said, syllabus? There isn't one. I said, oh, really? Oh, okay. So what about the first years? What do they have to do for their tech exam? Oh, there's no tech exam. Okay, what about for their recital? What do they have to do? And he was like, they can do whatever they like. And that was, and I, you know, it was just like, it was literally like that. I mean, it was a big shock.
Yeah.
So it was a big adjustment for me because I was kind of, and I mean, I know I rubbed people the wrong way because it was just like, well, no, I'm sorry, but you're actually going to have to do some fundamentals and you're going to have to, you know. So I know some people didn't like it, and I didn't care. I still don't care. So, but that was, you know, it was very, very different. Yeah.
Wow.
Really different. And I remember going to some recitals going, wow, this is so different. But, you know, some great players came out of that, you know. It's just a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I remember going to the open day when I was looking at going to unis. Yeah. So I think I started in 2014.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, that like there's got a lot more like syllabus and structure now, but still the performance of the drummer that I saw was the sound of him setting up and packing up his drum set whilst the quartet played.
Fair enough. Yeah, I saw one, and it's someone I know and someone you know, but I'm not going to mention any name, where, no, that was another one. But I remember seeing one where the band were playing, like a quartet were playing, and there were these dancers, and I was going, this is great. You know, there was these dancers free-forming, and then the dancers started taking over the instruments, and then the band were dancing. Wow. And that was the recital, and I was going, okay, yeah. and you know, I don't know which, to be honest, I don't remember which were better, the dancers or the, you know, like, but it really didn't make, but it was just very different. I mean, I'm much more open now. Like, I do remember thinking this is, I mean, Adelaide is a small town, and like it was very closed, and like I know it took me a long time to open up my ideas because I was very stuck in the Adelaide vibe. Mm-hmm. I love Adelaide, but you know, I'm so grateful that I got my ears and everything opened up in Melbourne. Just became it's more. I'm going to say creative.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I mean, skill is one thing, and repertoire is one thing, but like creativity, like I still am a big believer. You have to have a palette to draw off, and you have to have skill, and you have to have technique to make to really realize your creativity. Mm-hmm. But it's not the only thing.
Yeah.
You know, whereas when I first came here, I thought, well, these people can't even play.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, that was my thought when I was in high school. It's like, why do I want to go to like just make sound? Like, I need to learn how to play my instrument.
But I see both sides now.
Yeah. It takes some time, I suppose.
It does take time.
When all you know is like structure.
That's right. I was very much coming from a structured thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, let's fast forward, you know, through it's like 10 studio albums or something now, I think.
Yeah, well, 10.
Or 10.
There's a couple live albums, so 8 studio albums and 2 live albums. Yeah, yep.
And now this year, 2025, you've got the plan to record 2 more.
Well, I've recorded them.
Ah, okay, cool.
Right, so I've got an album coming out in the States, which is the first time I've ever done a release in the United States. Not that in this global world it probably makes any difference. You could release it in bloody Dimboola. Who's going to care? Who cares? But anyway, I recorded it in the States. That's the difference, I guess. I recorded it in the States in last year in June, and that's coming out in March. And that's the first time I've ever done that, a duo album as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What was it like working with Larry Coons?
Larry Coons is just beautiful. Someone said to me once, anyway, everyone you meet says, "Oh, Larry Coons, he's such an asshole," like as a joke. They don't say asshole, they say asshole, because he is the nicest guy. He's so nice.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's just very everyone loves him. Because he's just a really nice person, and musically that comes out. Okay. So you hear that, like the first time I played with him, I just thought, when I first met him, I just thought, this is going to be great, like musically, because I just knew he was a very nice person, and those things matter, Mm-hmm. But chop wise, he's got all that as well, it's beautiful. Yeah, really just. I mean, I've played with a lot of guitarists over the years too, and I love all the guitarists I play with. I mean, I play with some really freaking good guitarists, and I love the guitar because it's such a mystery to me, because I can play all the basic chords. I can play all the Bob Dylan songs on the guitar, but it's such a mysterious instrument to me. So, but when I played with Larry too, I hear new things. I think, I've never heard that on the guitar. I love playing with people where you just think, man, this is something new.
Yeah.
It's a guitar. But then of course all the normal things you would not hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Yeah.
What was the process of recording that album? Like, did you come in with, I don't know, much like pre-production plans?
Well, because it was a duo, I mean, to be fair, and I'm very, what's a word? Slack. I'm not very, I am organised. I pick the tunes, but I just thought we're playing a duo, and we've done a bunch of gigs as duo. We've done some trio gigs as well, but we did a little series of gigs as a duo. So I kind of knew what worked and what didn't. And then I thought, well, I want to do some different tunes. So I picked a bunch of tunes and said to Larry, and send him the tunes, and he was cool. So we recorded it in LA. A really good friend of mine who's also a singer and a record producer, she suggested the studio, and the guy, the engineer, who's also a very famous jazz bass player. And so she said, here's the guy for because he works with a lot of singers. He plays with Ricky Lee Jones.
Right.
His first ever gigs were playing with Carmen McRae, touring with Carmen McRae. I mean,
wow.
He's heavy. And so he's got a studio in Studio City in LA. And so we basically just went to the studio. We didn't rehearse. I don't think we rehearsed. Maybe we did a gig a couple of days before, that's right, and we had to talk about it. But Larry was the person who really kind of said, I think on this track I'm going to do this. And on that, and so that sort of, I had ideas for arrangements, but we kind of did it in the studio as well. Said, well, why don't we try this? Mm-hmm. Let's try doing it this way. But because I essentially wanted it to be live playing, not. Yeah, so we were playing live together all the time. There was a couple of tracks where he put two, on one track he actually plays 3 guitar tracks.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said, I reckon I need to, and on another track he has 2 different guitar tracks as well.
Wow.
So we played the first bit live, and then he would overdub.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty organic, but yeah, I would say I probably went in with that really classic Australian attitude of it'll be all right, she'll be right. Whereas the Americans do not think like that. Even in something as simple, they've really thought about it. he really thought about it. Yeah. And then in the mixing and the post-production stuff, like they go really deep, much deeper than I've ever done here.
Did you enjoy like having that different experience, like a new thing?
It was huge because it just made me wake up. Like, you know, we're so I'm so complacent. We just get stuck in this little bubble of like, yeah, we do it our way, and yeah, just even things like you know, choosing tracks, choosing the bits that, you know, where the performance, which is a better performance and which has got, you know, which is technically better, all of those things. And we do that all the time, of course. But just like, I don't know how to explain it really, but I was pretty impressed. Like, I remember the first day I recorded, just coming home feeling exhausted and ringing Ronnie saying, oh my God, they're just the attention to detail is freaking me out. Because I'm always just, oh, that'll be cool. That's fine. We'll leave that bit. It doesn't matter. You know, because my thinking is like, I'm not going to listen to it. I mean, truly.
Yeah, okay. Sure. It was a moment in time and it's happened.
Doesn't matter. Like, it's done. You know, but like, no, there would be. So like Larry would, like, he would be hearing, he hit a string or something. He'd say, I heard, what's that? You know, and they'd go back and I'd go, I didn't hear anything, you know, but just the detail. And he'd say, I need to do that note again. Like, he would go back. I mean, it was still, you know, so he would go and fix a note. You know, or like he didn't like a way a chord was. I mean, but I mean, you can't tell in the hearing of it. And then the attention to the things like, you know, in soloing, you know, because like I love to improvise, and you know, in a jazz record, you want it to be improvised, right? So, but they would go, yeah, but the first bit of that solo was, you know, and let's piece it together, and I'd be like, oh, I don't know about that. You know, so like they were really good because they said, but that's how everyone does it. No one's doing a live, you know. But so there was a couple of things I just went, okay, all right, let's try it because I've never done that before.
Yeah.
Normally it's like all my solos on my records, which I hate, to be honest. Like just there, that's it. But yeah, so that and also things like I think that should finish there. It should finish there. You know, like going, yeah. They just had a different. It was an interesting. Much more detailed than I'd ever experienced. It was great. Even just in a duo thing. Because I was thinking, oh, this is going to be easy. We'll just go in, play a bunch of tunes.
Yeah.
You know, we might be able to have to fix up something here or there. But like, yeah, they really thought about it, which was great.
Yeah.
Really good big learning curve for me.
Do you think that you'll try and keep, you know, doing some more things like that over there? Like
I
re-engage
hope so.
with that?
Yeah. I mean, Larry and I, we've got a little tour in March. I'm going over and to launch the record and but yeah, I'd love to do some more recording there. I mean, it's just money.
Yeah.
I just don't even want to think about it. Because the Australian dollar is, you just add everything. Yeah. And like people there, you know, like I had an interview the other day with somebody of the publicist, the people who are doing the because I'm paying a publicist and the whole thing this time. And a record guy. Like there you pay a record person. Radio person.
Oh, okay.
So somebody that they do a campaign, you pay them, like I'm paying this guy, I'll tell you, $2,700.
Wow.
US.
Oof.
And that's all they do is they get it to the radio stations.
Right.
That's their job. And then they follow up because there are enough radio stations in America still. So you pay a radio person and then you pay a publicist, same money.
Wow.
And then, of course, that's US. You know, so it's a ridiculous amount of money. But I had an interview with the publicist the other day so he could write a, you know, the thing that they send out with the album, you know, for publicity. And when he was asking me about the fact that I've done, you know, like you said, 10 albums here. And he said, that's it's incredible. I said, yeah, I guess it is, you know, but in the jazz world, of course, you know, like if I lived in the States, there's no way I could do that. There is absolutely no way because it costs so much money. You know, I know people can do things for much more less money now here, but to promote it, to get it heard, because it's like an ocean. It's an ocean. You're not even a drop in the ocean. You know, so most people spend at least 20 grand on doing an album. And when I said to him that all the albums I've done here, I mean, most of them were paid for by the ABC. Like that was like, wow.
Yeah.
I forget. We are lucky here. I've been really lucky because I've had that support. I mean, I have paid for a few of the albums, certainly paid to record them. But it's nowhere near, like I have been really lucky having things like the ABC and having Jazz Track, which again, like is before your time, but that was like a thing that was a radio show. It used to be more, I think it was 4 times a week. It was on Classic FM, and it was the ABC's charter to record bands in each state so they had stuff to play.
Wow.
Right? So that's how it started. My very first recording was a Jazz Track recording.
Right.
So I didn't pay for it. The taxpayers paid for it. So those things, a lot of jazz musicians got their start because of the ABC.
Wow.
And that's not a thing in the States.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I
not.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, there would be for some, but yeah. We are lucky in some regards. We're very lucky being in this. We whinge about it too, of course, because compared to some European countries where they really properly fund the arts, we still have some advantages here. Being in a small place, it's easier in some ways.
Yeah. That's thanks for giving us the insight into modern publicity and radio.
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's crazy. But here the thing is, in Australia, I've been doing it long enough. I mean, the first record I recorded in 1997. So my first album, and that was a Jazz Track recording. So it didn't cost me anything.
Wow.
Right? And then the next album I did was for the ABC because I won the Wangaratta thing. So that didn't cost me anything. A whole bunch of them didn't cost me anything. Right? Sounds like I am really freaking lucky, right? They're ones that did cost me money, and that's fine because you kind of, I want to do this thing. But the fact that, we kind of whinge about things here, compared to some, I kind of realise if I wasn't in Australia, those things wouldn't have happened, because because we're a small scene, it's a niche thing, absolutely. But once you know the people, so in terms of like publicity, for instance, like for an album, like I know the people, so it doesn't take much to get a review, for instance. And there's only so many places that review stuff now. It's so tiny, which is of course crap. But the thing is, like, the people who, and if you don't know them personally, someone who does.
Yep.
So it's easy to connect once you've been doing it for a long time like I have. Whereas in the States, it's like no one knows me from a bar of soap. So I've got Buckley's chance of getting that, what's the word, that, I don't know, roll on of things happening. So you kind of got to take a chance and try to make it happen. Yeah. But really, it's just an experience. I'm just doing it as an experience because I feel like I've done the thing in Australia. I know if I do a record here, I know who to send it to, and it'll probably get a review. They'll certainly play it. Yeah. Whereas I don't have that anywhere else.
Well, like, I don't know. It's like exciting, but also like, I don't know, like a brave thing to just like try something new where, it's like the classic, like big fish in the small pond. And
absolutely.
Now you're like,
it's right, exactly
let's
right.
Try this.
Australia's a little pond, and like I've been doing it long enough. There's not many people who've been doing it. There's lots of people who've been doing it long enough, absolutely. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it sounds weird, but I know it's easy to be a big fish in this little pond. Absolutely. Which is, and then the thing is, like, it was like when we moved from Adelaide to Melbourne, it was like, okay, we've got to get out of Adelaide because we're kind of, there's only so much you can do. And in Australia, there's only so much you can do. That's the other thing. And then after a while, people think, well, you've done that, so they're not going to offer it to you again. Right. Right? And that's what's happened. That's exactly what's happened to me. It's like, yeah, I've had those opportunities. So sure, I shouldn't be offered them again. Yeah. But also, yeah, people go, I've seen that. Been there, because we're such a small, you get your loyal people, but that's kind of how it works. And I mean, and it happens like that all over the world. It's just that Australia's, this is the pond we're in. Yes. Yeah.
So what's the, like, I don't know, juxtaposition of this American LA scene to the duo album that you've just done with Paul Grabowski?
Oh, okay. So the thing I've done, well, that was very strange because I did a gig with Paul Grabowski, and how did that happen? Oh, that's right. My band was playing at the Orange Jazz Festival last year, And we were promoting the Bark Project thing. And I did a gig. Part of the festival was like this duo gig, which was to help pay for a bit of extra money within the festival.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did this duo gig with Hugh Stuckey, who's a beautiful guitarist, who was doing the tour with us because Jeff was away. And so we did this gig for the Orange Jazz Festival, and I thought it was a background music gig. I thought, this is just some extra money to help, pay for the trip. But it turned out it was like part of the program, and it was in this restaurant, and I thought, it's going to be a background gig, but it was actually a concert.
Okay.
Right? So we were playing and it was like people paid, and then they had their meal, and then they sat there, and I was like, oh shit, I've got a repertoire. That's me again. We'll just play some tunes, like the Brunswick Green. Like maybe I could just ask for requests. I mean, that's so lazy, It's like, oh shit. And like Hugh and I'd never played in a duet before. Anyway, but it was a concert, and Paul Grabowski was there, and he was kind of very excited by it. Anyway, he said, we should play. Why haven't we played? And he'd been saying it for a while. Anyway, he got a gig, a duo gig. We rehearsed some music, and he was very taken by it. And we did talk once about sad songs, how we both love sad songs. So we put together a bunch of really sad songs, and we did a gig. It was lovely. And then he said, we've got to record this. So him being Paul Grabowski, he can just make that happen. Again, I said, Paul, if you organise it, I'm there. I mean, and again, it was with the ABC. So, somebody like Paul Grabowski can just call up the ABC and say, I want to do a duo album. And they'll just say, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because that's how it works. Because we're a small place.
Yeah.
And in some regards, it's how it should work, because he's been doing it for a long, long time, and he's Paul Grabowski. So that's how that happened, and we recorded. I think it's 10 songs. I can't remember, and they're all sad.
Wow.
So it's really interesting because I've never played a duo. Again, never played a duo apart from the odd sort of gig here and there with a piano player. I'm not really a piano player person.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm not a big fan of piano players. I've played with a few, but I'm a guitar person.
Yeah.
Guitar does it for me more. I think it's because I play piano really badly, and I did years of solo piano bar work. I mean, that's like when we first moved to Melbourne, that was my main gig.
Okay.
I played, and in Adelaide, I did years of solo piano bar. Me sitting there playing. Yeah, pop songs.
Yeah, doing the piano bar,
sneaking a few jazz songs in every now and then, and I don't know. So I had never played with Paul before that gig, I don't think. But anyway, he's an amazing piano player, and he can. And for me, my job in that situation is just to sing the sad song. I mean, I'm not I don't think maybe I did a little bit of improvisation, but it was basically just singing the songs, which I don't do often enough either, because I do love that. I sometimes just get more excited about the improvisation. And I mean, I love the songs, but I kind of often see the songs as a vehicle to the improvisation.
Yeah, right.
So this was purely just about the lyrics and the beauty of the melodies. So, yeah, so that's really exciting, and that will come out sometime this year. Yeah.
What are you thinking about when, you're singing the song?
I'm thinking about the story. Sometimes I'm picturing things, like it depends on the song. Like if it's a really vivid sort of imagery, like I'm actually seeing it like a movie running in my head. Sometimes I'm seeing the music on the stave. Like often I do. Like I certainly when I'm improvising, I see the in my head, I can kind of see the chart. I can see the bars coming up.
Wow.
But when I'm singing the story of a song, I'm thinking, I'm picturing a bit of a movie, really. Yeah. Usually, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just thinking, when can I finish? No, I'm joking. I mean, I don't know. It's very, It really depends on your mood and stuff. But in a studio, like when you're recording something, I mean, that's intensive because you're thinking, I've got to get this right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're working, like in that instance, you're working harder to create, something that is lasting. Whereas on a gig, it's gone, so there's a lot more of that in the moment stuff. But in a studio, I think I'm much more like focused on, this has got to be real, and I've got to try hard to make it a lasting thing. When I'm talking about like the song, not in improvisation, I'm not, because then that will kill everything. As soon as you're thinking about it, like this is going to be there forever, then you've fucked it. Because then you're going, oh, that last note I did 3 bars ago, that sucked. Well, we can't keep that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're just analysing the whole thing all the time.
Exactly. So, but the song, I do think a bit differently in the studio, yeah.
I have been like asking a few different people about like, their worst gig. And
yeah, God.
So many of them have been like gear related.
Oh, got lots of gear related, other people's gear for me. I can tell you it's usually involved Jeff Hughes's guitar amps, but lots of guitar amp stories where people's guitar amps. Oh no, there was one where the PA blew up in my face.
Oh.
Sort of like, it was a CD launch actually. It was at the Track Cinema in Toorak. We were doing a CD launch. It was for the Keep Your Heart Right album. I'll never forget it because it's a long story, but it had all the promise of being this really cool venue, and it didn't deliver. And but on the day, because it's an old track, it's old cinema, and the gear, the light, the electrics in the place were all old.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So once he's plugged gear in, everything was freaking out. So we had a sound person who was fantastic, Siri. She's like a really great sound person. She was doing the sound. Anyway, I just remember like halfway through, I think the second set, the PA just blew up. Like, and the monitor was a big old monitor. It actually went in, like my hair moved. It was kind of like Beyonce style. It was just a big gush, and then there was nothing. So we just had to continue a cappella, acoustic in this cinema, which had it was all just dead.
Yeah.
Like it was like there was no acoustic vibe whatsoever. That was pretty bad. Yeah, there's always gear related stuff.
Yeah.
I you know what? Like I should think about that. Like the worst gig I've ever had. I mean, I can think of things. Yeah, I have got lots people related where I just wanted to punch people, and or punters related. One where I had to run off stage because I was about to faint, and because of my stomach, I had a really bad stomach bug, and I had to run to the bathroom. I won't tell you the details, but needless to say, it was horrendous, and I had to walk through the crowd to get to the bathroom.
Oh,
yeah, and the band were just on a vamp, a very long vamp.
Okay,
because I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah,
I didn't have time to tell them. I just kind of casually walked off stage, and I was thinking, "What's happening?" Anyway, I made it back by the end of the song, but yeah, it was that things like that. I don't know what sort of worst experiences do people have.
Well, yeah, it's mostly like the gear's not functioning, or I forgot a part of something, and I was wondering, like, because it's your voice, like you've got it with you all the time.
Oh, but I've had lots of times where I've been really sick. Yeah, I know we did like a gig once for the Stonington Jazz Festival where I had like basically the range of a perfect fifth.
Oh.
Which I still managed to do the gig. I don't know how.
Wow.
But I couldn't actually talk. Like I just had a cold and it just skyrocketed, and I couldn't actually speak, but I managed to sing some notes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, but so basically I'll be singing, and it was a concert. It was for the jazz festival, and I remember that's what Ronnie organised. He organised Stephen Grant to come and play with us as well, because he just said, look, we're going to need somebody else because she's got nothing, and so we were playing, and I didn't know what was going to come out. Every now and then some notes would come out, and I managed to do the gig. But then when I would talk to the audience, say like nothing came out.
Oh.
So I was just like, and then people were going, "What's going on?" I was going, "I'm sorry," and they were saying she's sick. But like, yeah, so those things. I mean, singers get that all the time. I mean, it's horrible. It is horrible, and it's stressful because then the more you get stressed about it, the worse it gets. I've had that on tour as well. Actually, in Turkey, I had that once too. I was,
Oh, no.
yeah. I was just, but yeah, not much you can do. But I feel for those gigantic stars, like, your Adeles and your Pinks and your when they
Just
have to
night after
cancel
night
shows,
after night,
and like people, don't understand. It's like the human body, like it, it's not like a drummer who's,
they're still there. I can still hit them and make a noise.
You can
like,
hit, but yeah, gear is a thing. It's definitely a thing. Yeah.
I was doing a cruise ship gig and I stood on this like massive thorn and it went like way into my foot and got stuck in there. So my whole foot swelled up and got infected. But I swapped the kit like from a right-hander to a left-hander so I could still play in the evenings for my job.
And just waited to go home to have your foot amputated.
Yeah. Exactly. So, like there's workarounds, but when your voice goes, I can't imagine and like you say, the stress of like thinking about it.
Well, that's the other thing because like voice is a very, they do say, a lot of people, particularly women too, like that women's cycles and all that can affect their voices. It's never really been a thing for me, but like certainly, like if you're in a good mood, your voice, it's easier. If you're sad and you're grumpy and like it's harder. It's a collector of your emotions as well. So, it's definitely a thing. Stress will make it worse. Yeah. And if you're not sleeping because you're stressed and all that, then all those things compound for sure.
We'll be doing this thing on the podcast where I get each guest to ask a question of the next guest.
Oh,
so
right. Who's the next guest?
Well, that's the unknown piece of fun. So I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
From our previous guest.
Oh, okay.
Drummer Peter Luscombe.
Oh, wow. He plays with my heroes.
Yeah, he's pretty.
The Vika and Linda Ball are like two of my most. The Ball sisters are like. I once chased, not chased. That's not right. I once like saw Linda Ball in Officeworks car park, and said, "Oh, hello, I love you." And she just was coming out from doing some, poster, like photocopying some posters and like, totally having a dag out day. And she said, "Oh, thank you. You just made my day." And I said, and I thought, I'm glad I said that then because I just love them. But yeah, Peter Luscombe, he's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had your time again in the art that you chose, is there something you would do differently?
If I had my time again, would I do something differently? Oh, that's hard. Would I do something differently? I don't think I would. Yeah, I don't know what I could do differently. I would probably, you know what? I'd probably practice more.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a practicer. I don't really practice.
Because you talk so much about hard work and fundamentals.
Yeah, I know. I practiced once upon a time.
Okay.
No, that's not true. When I have something coming up, I'll practice. And like, for instance, now it's summer, I haven't, I've done a few gigs this year, but like I'm not in a practice zone at the moment. So I have to get back into it. So, and like, to be honest, I would have practiced the violin harder.
Okay.
And I know there was a point where I started playing bass. Like I've got a double bass. It doesn't make me a double bass player. Like that's a big thing. Like I live with somebody, Ronnie, he practices. If he doesn't practice every day, he starts going a bit nuts. And so I guess it would have been nice to get that bug to be one of those people who's just aching to practice.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. So that's probably it for me. Yeah.
All right. What question would you like to ask our next guest?
Oh gosh. Okay. So if you're, oh God, that's a really hard question. Okay, if you, all right, so it depends where you are in your career, right? Career, I say in inverted commas, because I am a bit of a cynic about that. I think, yeah, anyway, when people talk about the music industry and stuff. I mean, I look at someone like Peter Luskin and I go, well, yes, he's part of a music industry. I don't actually see jazz musicians as being part of much of an industry.
That's interesting.
I really don't. You know, like that implies that there's, I don't know, an income. Okay, but let's just say if you knowing that, how do I say this? Knowing that it's hard to make a living playing the music you love, would you still, you know, depending where you are in your career, do you think you would still do it regardless? You know, like, because I see a lot of people who I have to say to them, like, why are you doing it? If it's to make money and to be famous, then okay, that's fine. Go for it. Good luck. But if that's the only reason, so I guess like, yeah, I haven't asked the question well at all, have I?
Like, not quite, I don't think, but like almost.
Okay, so
are you saying like, would you live the struggling artist's life, or are you saying would you keep pursuing your music knowing that it won't like bring you any
shall I rephrase
success
that?
Or something?
Okay, so my question is, if you, knowing that you're not likely to make a huge amount of money playing the music you love, would you still keep going? Is that enough to keep you going?
That's a really good question.
Because I think that it's like something I think I knew that always. I never ever imagined that I was going to make proper money out of it. But yeah, and I guess the teaching thing, having something to fall back, you know, when people sort of think, yeah, you've got to have something to fall back on, you kind of just do, don't you? Yeah. But that's universally. I mean, unless you're like mega famous, and then anyway, that's a whole nother podcast.
Fame does change the whole game.
But also depending for how long, you know, and then what do you, yeah. I mean, I guess being a working musician, I mean, that's something like I reckon like as a singer that I get not annoyed by, but I wish I could be more of the sideman.
Okay.
You know, like I have skills, but unfortunately being the front person like that, yeah, it's changed. So, sorry. So the thing about before I said, well, I wish I'd practiced the bass and I got to be a good bass player.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're a good bass player, you're always going to work. You know, so that thing of being a skilled sideman or side person. Have
you ever like wanted to pursue like the backing vocalist thing so that you have some sort of like rock up, wear blacks and, you know, sing some harmonies?
I did do that a lot in Adelaide. I used to do a lot of BV work and I did, yeah, I love that. And I love, like, I used to do quite a bit of like recording session work, you know, jingle work, like in the days when there were jingles. And actually when I first moved to Melbourne, I did a fair bit of that too, but I haven't pursued that. And also there are people who do it way better than me. So, but the BV thing I used to do quite a lot in like cabaret shows. Like I did Elvis to the max. I did that for years. Like we used to do 5 nights a week. Like I did a 3-month stint of 5 nights a week in a hotel.
Wow.
And 2 weeks at the Enmore Theatre backing this Elvis guy. Yeah, I did that. I actually really enjoy doing that. Yeah, so, but if I was playing an instrument, I'd love to be a sideman. Yeah. See the other side. To be that person that just all I need is information. What time do I be there? What you know? Yeah. Instead of like having to be the person who organises a gig, books a gig, promotes a gig, hustles for the money, deals with the idiot person who's the booker. Not saying that, but there are quite a few. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, you carry all the responsibility because it's your show. So if you're like, I've had it many times where I've had to say to people I play with, honestly, it's easy for you to say that. But for me, if I don't do this, we don't play. You know? Yeah. It is. So that thing of being a band leader, that's all about just trying to generate work, isn't it, really, for yourself? But you can't do it by yourself. No one's going to want to hear me singing a cappella like Scooby-Doo action. I have to play with a band. you know.
Yeah.
So, but the band don't need to know what goes into me booking a gig or a tour. They don't need to. I'm not telling them every step because that would be boring for them. I don't want to put them off. But like the reality is there's a lot to do to get gigs, to hustle gigs. And, you know, I'd love to just be that side person that just gets a gig and just rock up. That's why I love it when someone else organises a gig.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, fantastic.
Yeah.
Great, I'm there.
Yeah.
What time? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, because you've got the
doesn't
freedom to
happen.
just come and play.
There's so few gigs that I have that are like that.
Mm.
Yeah, so...
Well, to any listeners that want to book you for a show, like there's some strong hinting going on.
Yeah, if you don't mind my bass playing, I could do it for about 5 minutes and my fingers get sore.
Well, there's still time to work on that.
Yeah, I know. I've got to just work harder. Yeah, yeah.
All right, we end the podcast with the same 5 questions for everybody.
Yep.
What is your favourite venue to play in Melbourne?
Oh, well, I've got to say the Brunswick Green.
Nice.
Because, I mean, it's like my lounge. I mean, in 17 and a half years.
It's pretty special.
It is pretty nice. And the people there, it's all about people there. So the people who run it, Paul and Marit, that's all they care about is the people, you know. So I love that room. Yeah, it's my favourite.
What would be your dream venue to play?
Oh, man. Dream venue. I don't know. Well, when I sang in the Opera House, Sydney Opera House, that was pretty amazing. It's like I'd never, ever in a million years imagined I would ever sing there. My dream venue. Oh, I mean, everyone would love to play at Carnegie Hall, wouldn't they? Love to stand on the stage at Carnegie Hall. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah. I don't think like that very often, Luke. So it's actually good. I don't think big.
Ah, well, you know, you're about to do this American release.
Yeah,
and,
it's not Carnegie Hall.
Not yet.
No. Yeah.
What is your coffee order?
I don't drink coffee.
Do you have a hot beverage of preference?
Well, if I'm going out, I drink tea. Like I have a lot of tea with milk. But if I go out, I'm not prepared to pay for tea because I just think no.
Yes.
So I have hot chocolate.
Nice.
Yes, but then again, it's really hard to get a hot chocolate. It is really hard because they're always very sweet.
Yeah, and especially a good one.
A good one, yeah. So like I love the Mork hot chocolate. It's a dark 70%, and I kind of know all the cafes that serve Mork. Yeah, so I'm a hot chocolate. If I'm going to a cafe, I'll have a hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's an extra question then. Like
Yeah.
favorite hot chocolates of Brunswick.
Oh, well, I'm more of a Mooney Ponds person.
Oh,
I mean, I do
okay.
live in West Brunswick. That's true.
Yes.
But like literally, so I love Small Pond Cafe just on the junction there. They're great. There's also that little Old Man Drew on Mount Alexander Road. They do a really good hot chocolate. Actually, you know what? There's a place on Sydney Road. They don't do the Mork, but they do a really nice hot chocolate, and I've forgotten the name.
Is that the place that's the chocolate, like it's like a chocolate factory where they're making
No, I haven't
it?
had anything there.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems like a little bit too, you know.
They're too committed to the chocolate for you to
Yeah,
feel
well, of course it's going to be
comfortable.
good if it's a chocolate shop. But what you want to do is when you go with your mate to have meet up for coffee, it's hard to. There used to be a great place on Union Street up there. Do you remember Miss Marmalade? They closed down.
Okay.
During not long
Oh,
after
is it the one
COVID.
like halfway up Union in the little sort
Opposite
of like
the Union
hole in the wall?
Hotel. Just bit. Yeah,
Yes.
that cafe was really great. What's the one on Sydney Road? It's got one word. I want to say lobe or lob. Is it lob on Sydney Road? Up the
Potentially.
Anyway, I don't know.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
For those of us who drink hot chocolates, it's a nice side quest.
Yeah.
What's your favourite place to get food after a gig in Melbourne?
See, I'm too old for that now. I can't eat after 8 o'clock. Used to be Cafe Romantica.
Okay.
I don't know if I don't think it's there anymore. On Lygon Street it was 24 hours. No, actually, where do we go? We don't do that much anymore. I mean, there's a burger joint on Sydney Road opposite. There's a couple little burger joints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I don't. Well, Danny's. Hello, Danny's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just haven't been there for about a year, but Danny's is still open, isn't it?
I think so.
Danny's is great. Yeah, let's say Danny's.
Final question.
Mm-hmm.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
Oh, Jesus. One piece of advice to my younger self. Try not to be be so glass half empty. try to be a bit more positive. I think as I get older, I'm getting much more positive.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I used to be pretty negative. I'll always expect the worst to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think, like when as you get older, and now I've got a daughter who's like 19, so once you have a kid and you start realizing I've actually got to look after somebody else's, welfare a bit more. And so being negative is not a good example.
Yes.
So I think when I was younger, I could have probably been a bit more positive.
That's like encouraging that it's like you feel like you're trending positive.
I think I'm trending positive, but on the side of like, I'm so old now, I couldn't give a shit. So it's more about then probably maybe it's more about not worrying about stuff that you can't change.
Right.
And going like, I'm not going to worry about that anymore. I don't care. And the sort of stuff that you can't control, just like I can't. And a lot of that is about what other people think and what other people do. Like you can't control that.
Yeah.
I mean, in the times we're in now, like you could just give up if you worried, because there's so much horrible shit going down. I mean, and I can get sucked into that. I can really get sucked into like, just at the moment with the whole, there's so much negative stuff in the world, but I just can't do anything about it. So I'm just trying to focus on, well, firstly, not getting sucked into it, and then just thinking about being positive.
Yeah, being positive. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for doing this, Michelle.
No worries, Luke.
It's been so lovely. And I suppose at the time of our listeners listening, these albums will be out, and
yes,
I'm excited to hear them, and I'm sure they'll be doing really well. So it'll be exciting to like see the American success story.
Yeah, well, that one I can tell you is going to be called. It is called The Silent Wish, and the one with Paul is going to be called Noir.
Cool.
As in, dark and
yeah.
And it's going to. They're both really beautiful. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you.